So, I'm going to AnimeNYC, in New York City, and I need some new props. However, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch. So today we're going to be speed building some Solo-Leveling Daggers, and hopefully they come out presentable. Let's get started. You're such a gross wormy boy. Yes, you are. Mwah. So, for those of you that don't know, I'm also a huge weeb. On top of liking Marvel and DC stuff, I also like anime. And this year, I'm going to AnimeNYC, and I decided to be Sung Jin-Woo from Solo-Leveling. If you haven't seen that anime yet, please go check it out. It is awesome. Now, initially, I was gonna do this version of him, but honestly, this is not a spoiler, but it hasn't happened yet. He has a cool sword, it's whatever, it's season 2 stuff. So I decided to pivot to this version of him at the end of season 1. Now these are the Venom Fang and the Night Killer, and I'm not gonna give you any information on like how he gets them or when, just don't worry about that. By the end of the season, he has them, they're cool daggers, that's what I'm gonna be cosplaying. Now the costume itself is easy. It's a blue sweatshirt, some bandages, and pants. Always wear pants to a con. But I need the daggers, so we're gonna 3D print them in a hurry. But little spoiler alert, I am filming this from the future because I always film my intros when the thing is done. It's just, don't worry about it. I initially planned to print these in a transparent or translucent filament because I wanted to actually put lights inside of them and make them glow. I've had them printed for a while. I just procrastinated finishing them, but you're gonna see that the daggers themselves, once they're printed, are actually clear PLA. I have to paint over them anyway. If I want to go and do that one day, I'll just have to reprint them. It's not a big deal. Make sure you guys hang out to the end of the video to learn a little bit about the split soul katana. This is the second prop I'm using for my Toji cosplay. I speed built this too. It's not getting a video. It was basically the same as the Spear of Heaven, but I'll talk about a little bit of the details at the end of the video. So, to the computer. Okay, so here we are. Let's jump right into it. We are using files from Something Workshop on Colts 3D. He has tons of different files and really good quality. He actually has quite a few solo leveling options, but I'm not gonna spend too much time here because there are some spoilers there. So I grabbed Kasaka's Venom, just gonna call it the Venom Fang. It's really cool. And we grabbed the Night Killer. Beautiful files, really good reference. He did a great job on them. And when you get the files, there's gonna be tons of different options in here. They are split up very, very nicely for different versions of printing. If we go and look at Orca Slicer, we'll start with the Venom Fang. He didn't break this one up as much because there's just a lot of detail in it, but you can basically print it in these 4 pieces, or you can go and plain cut them however you want. Orca Slicer is a fantastic slicing program. I know this is Bambu Studio, but they're the same thing. Just use either or. If you want a full tutorial on how to use Orca Slicer, which also translates to Bambu Studio, go check out this video right here. It'll teach you everything you need to know about getting used to Orca and some settings and just how to navigate it. Now over here, the Night Killer has a lot more options. You have the full dagger right here. You have the dagger with just the handle. You have the crossguard and the handle split, and then it's split into multiple pieces. Print it however you want. I'm gonna show you how I positioned everything. This way it makes a little bit more sense on how I got the quality that I did. So the Night Killer is a lot easier to position. I just used the lay flat plane feature on the bottoms of them and just stood them up as best as possible. These are the build plates on my Bambu X1 Carbon or P1S or P1P, that medium size printer, and everything fits. You can just kind of one-shot everything. The only downside is the way that the Venom Fang is split up. You're gonna have to do some PLA welding. You could rebuild it, do it however you want. You could resin print them if you wanted. Honestly, the Venom Fang would probably benefit from being resin printed, but I didn't do that. We went with FDM printing. I maxed out the quality settings. I think I used a 0.12, and I just let the printer do the work. Especially with all the detail on this stuff, I just wanted the printer to put its best foot forward, and it did. So if you wanna mimic how I have these positioned, everything standing up, enable supports obviously, but they really didn't use that many supports at all, especially with how they were positioned. Everything came out really cool. So get yours printed, and then we're gonna get into the assembly and the painting stage because that's the fun part. The printers just print now. This is honestly the easy part. So let's get these printed and get off to assembly and painting. So here's everything 3D printed. Again, like I said in the beginning of the video, I printed it in clear with 0% infill and 3 or 4 walls because I wanted to put some LEDs in it, but we don't got time for that. So I'm just doing a very basic assembly. I'm sanding the edges, I'm sanding the flat parts of it, and then using Sienna Acrylite 2-part glue to fuse everything together. This stuff holds really, really well, but I did not record myself PLA welding with the soldering iron. I did go on the part of the Venom Fang that obviously was split into 2 pieces, and I just did a light PLA weld, and we're gonna go and fill that in with some Bondo spot putty and filler primer later, but just get them assembled and they'll come out looking real good. Be sure not to stab yourself because my God, did this thing come out sharp. Now, because of the design of the Venom Fang, I had to more or less just assemble it all in one piece. I guess I could have left the handle off, but whatever. As for the Night Killer, I left the blade out because it is getting a very different paint job than the handle is gonna be attached to, and it's just gonna make the post-processing and sanding and painting a lot easier. So now that that's done, let's get to the garage. So then after that, you're gonna I need a break. Let's take a break. Yeah. Okay, so I want to take a little break from the crazy con crunch to talk to you guys about something that's really important to me. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've talked about this type of stuff before. Mental health. And with the help of today's sponsor, BetterHelp, not only do we get to talk about it, but I also get to give you guys a resource if you're looking to start working on your own mental health. I'm stressed, guys. I'm stressed a lot. I work from home, I run my YouTube and Instagram and Etsy and all social medias, and I still do military work sometimes, and I have family stuff going on, and I travel for conventions and cons, and it's a lot to juggle. And years ago, something that became very important to me was my own mental health. It was weighing on me. Things were starting to build up, and I didn't know how to talk to friends and family about them, because I didn't want to bug them. I didn't want to burden them. Well, this seems like a problem to me, but maybe it won't seem like a problem to them, and I don't want to worry them. So I started going to therapy. I've gone to therapy about a lot of things, and it's always nice to talk to somebody who's unbiased, who can help paint a better picture for you and help you start working on and figuring out what's going on in your head. And I personally know that one of the biggest roadblocks for it was going out and actually going and finding a therapist, going to offices, calling, trying to figure this out, having to figure out time in your day to leave your house and go and sit with somebody. But now with BetterHelp, you can do that conveniently from the comfort of your own home or wherever you want to. You can do it on your computer, your phone. It is super easy to get set up. Once you go and get signed up, you take a questionnaire and it'll help match you with a licensed therapist within usually 48 hours. And this way you can just get the ball rolling and start talking. But wait, what if you don't really match with that therapist? What if what if the conversation isn't flowing or something feels off? You're allowed to go and change your therapist whenever you want with BetterHelp, and this way you can find a match that works for you. So if anything I've said sounds appealing, please use the link down below, betterhelp.com/franklybuilt. I've linked it down there, and you can go and start your journey. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to the build. If you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. Sand Prime, Prime Sand. These are higher detailed models, so honestly, they do a good job at hiding the layer lines. Because they're textured, you're not gonna have to do a lot of work on the real high detailed stuff. It's the flat blades that you're gonna wanna make chrome that you're gonna wanna put a lot of effort in. I'm doing one dust coat of filler primer, just sanding and going back and forth, touching up any spots I can. Spend as much time on this as you want. You can soak it, you can douse it. The Duplicolor filler primers work great for this. So once I was happy with the sanding and priming, I now moved on to the actual painting process. And if you start to paint something and you're not happy with it, you can always go back and sand it back down. I think I had to sand this blade back down twice after applying this first coat of gloss black. But the center of the blade is going to be gloss black, and I'm gonna need to get the whole blade gloss black, and then I'm just gonna tape off the parts that I wanna leave, and then we're gonna move on to the chrome and the red. Oh, by the way, guys, do as I say, not as I do. Wear gloves. I was in a rush. I don't want to talk about it. Now get ready for a story of absolute sadness and betrayal. So I very carefully masking taped yellow frog tape, it's low tack, the center of the blade because I want to leave that black. And I started to dust it with chrome. This is a metallic chrome Rust-Oleum paint. I used it on my Spear of Heaven and basically any shiny prop you've ever seen me make. Now I want to make this blade red. So once the chrome was done, I moved on to a Duplicolor Metal Cast Red. You'll recognize it from my Iron Man suit, literally the same stuff I've always been using, and you go on in layers and coats. But you can see it starts to build up, and you can stop the application at any point. If you're happy with the red, if you're not, you go darker or lighter. You can see here, it was coming out absolutely beautiful. I was so happy with the paint job, the tape job, but unfortunately, sometimes when using metal casts on chromes instead of gold and silver, bad things can happen. As I was peeling the tape off and it was coming out so nicely, tragedy struck and some of the paint came up with the tape. This type of stuff happens. There's a big difference between silver and chrome, and metal cast doesn't like chrome, but hey, Gotta restart. So I sanded everything back down. I didn't get any footage of that because I was just so aggravated at that point. Now it was time to start doing the details on the handle for the Night Killer. I just masked off the parts I wanted to leave black, and I hit it with a Rust-Oleum gold. It's, again, same stuff I've been using on the channel for years. It's on my Iron Man suit, and it goes on very, very nicely. Take your time applying it, but that last coat, try to make it a little wet, and then it'll really shine up. But again, it's gonna reveal any imperfections that you didn't sand out. So if you have done a poor job sanding up until now, it's gonna show. Now moving on to the Venom Fang. Again, I did the whole thing in a gloss black, and this took a lot more time to mask and tape off. I did the entire edge in a nice chrome. It came out beautiful. Peeling the tape on this was very therapeutic. And then from there, it was moving on to the actual detailing once we get back inside. But one final little look at the very finished version of the Night Killer. Now, I did something a little different at the end here. Instead of doing the metal cast with the tape on, after I did the chrome, I took the tape off, and it's very, very hard to see, but you can see there's a slight tint in the black because I did the metal cast over the black. Obviously, it doesn't show as shiny as the chrome, but it still looks really cool. So now that we're back inside, what I started to do to clean up some of the edges, I was actually taking the edge of a razor blade and running it along the beveled edge of the blade where the tape and the chrome were. It was actually helping smooth out the lines, any little bits of chrome that had bled under the tape. It wasn't adhering really well to the gloss black, so it kind of just scraped right off, and it just sharpened up those lines, and I was really happy with it. Oh, you'll also notice I wrapped the handle in white electrical tape because I had some and it worked. As for the detailing, I wanted the gold on this to be just a little bit different than the one on the Night Killer, so I'm actually using a gold Sharpie. I've done this on many props. Metallic paint pens and metallic Sharpies go a long way for detailing, and it takes a little bit of work. You have to go over it a couple times in a couple layers, but you can actually get some pretty cool coloring and detail out of just basic standard Sharpies. I started to just color everything in, and I had actually already gone and done the whole other side, and I kind of liked the almost patchy look because this is supposed to be like the fang of a giant serpent or basilisk or something, so it's not going to be perfect, but I mean, you can paint it however you want. I couldn't imagine masking all of this off. This was just an easier solution, and I really like how the results came out. I very easily could have just got a little bottle of gold paint and used a paintbrush, but I don't know. This worked. As for the Night Killer, again, white electrical tape. Electrical tape and vinyl tape goes a long way for handles, especially showing any details underneath it. And obviously the model had that detail baked in, so everything just kind of bled through, and I like how it came out. I also took some gold on a paintbrush tip and detailed the little spots on the handle. And from there, the Night Killer blade was pretty much done. All I had to do was glue it together. Now, I decided at the very end, I wanted to chip up the Night Killer blade, not because of anything I had done wrong, but I liked that there was could be a little bit of chrome bleeding through the red. I thought it just added a little bit more effect to it, showing that there was a shiny edge underneath it. So I just took my razor blade and kind of just chipped off some of the paint. Dealer's choice on if you want to do this, but I liked how it came out. With that, there isn't much left to do except get a much better look at these and wrap this video up. How about we take a look at them? And here are the finished blades, guys. I am very happy with how these turned out, especially for a collective of like 3 days of work. Like I said, I printed them out quite a while ago in preparation for AnimeNYC. I just procrastinated real bad. For actually just sitting down, hunkering down, sanding them, painting them, and getting them done in about, like I said, 3 days. I'm more than happy with them. They're gonna look great on camera. They're gonna look great on display on the wall. I don't even feel I need to go back and redo them. I'm just happy with them. Now, I know it's not gonna be for everybody, but I really do like how that gold came out. It does, I think it gives a little bit more of an organic look because it's just not perfectly uniform. And again, you can spend as much time or pick whatever paints you want, but I really like the gold Sharpie, especially when compared next to the Rust-Oleum gold. They're two very different colors, and I like them. Holding them both together, like, look at that. Look at that. That looks sick. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is they're kind of sharp. I hope I can get them into the con. I did tell a fib earlier, and I apologize on that. Liar! This is white electrical tape. This is actually thread lock PVC pipe tape. I guess it doesn't matter because it's white. It's a white handle. Sorry. Oh, that's a cool effect. So, stay cool. So I think that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video, guys. This wasn't a complicated build at all. Pretty basic colors, all stuff I've covered before. A couple of things to note when going into a build like this. Make sure you have a good masking tape. The yellow frog tape works great. Tamiya, I think, makes really small rolls of this white modeling masking tape, and that stuff is great. You just wanna make sure your paints are cured. Sometimes tapes aren't gonna play well with certain paints you're using, and it's gonna sometimes be a little bit of a trial and error. You're gonna run, like, I literally recorded a failure that I had while making this video. It happens sometimes. recollect yourself, reset, figure out what went wrong, and push on. If you guys liked what you saw in the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. This way you can stay up to date on everything I have coming out. And also, I don't usually do this, but make sure you're following my Instagram. This way, when I actually post photos of this cosplay at AnimeNYC, you can see the finished project. While filming this, I realized that the modeler that makes these actually does have a model of the sword I wanted to make. So hopefully by the end of season 2, if he has the sword by then, I'll have that sword done too. And that one, it's gonna glow blue. Mark my words. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything you saw in the video, please leave some comments down below. You guys know I read all of them and I will respond to as many as I possibly can. Now, if you don't care about this next part, you can stop the video here, but I told you guys there was gonna be a little bit of a bonus at the end. I wanted to go over, oh, don't fall, please don't fall. Oh no. I wanted to go over my split soul katana. Just take about 30 to 60 seconds and talk about what I did here, because I didn't record any of this. I will be making a second one of these that's gonna be a slightly different version when more of JJK gets animated. Just looking at some of the images, this file is from Vec 3D, I think. I don't know if this is Vex or Walsh's. Hold on. It is indeed from Vec 3D. They all put it, I should have known it was Vec, he's a weeb too. But his model looked a little odd. It looked accurate to the references he had, but I wanted the blade to be larger at the end. So I actually skewed and stretched it out to make the side just beefier, because in some of the reference images of Toji standing there like an absolute menace, it just looked bigger that way. So I printed the blade, fused it together. Again, we've been all over all of that. This is an oil rubbed bronze paint. I found some, what looks like a poor rodent that I took advantage of, and hey yo, yeah, it's a chinchilla. Huh? I'm kidding, I got it online. I thought it was a good fabric material. Printed out the handle, wrapped it in some white, and then this is actually the base filler primer color. I just put a matte clear coat over it just to protect it. That's it. It was actually a really simple build. I really wouldn't even warrant this getting its own video, but with the other version that I want to make, I think that's when I'll reattack it. If you want more tips on making katanas, you can check out some of my Demon Slayer sword tutorials. I just got done with Ichigo's Zangetsu and Zanpakuto's. It's all the same methods. Get a file, print it, paint it, sand it, do whatever you want. But yeah, came out pretty cool. So just wanted to cover that at the end of this video. So if you made it this far, as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. You have a good day.